I see inspiration everywhere. You viewers are inspiration for me. So when you click on my video and you hit that like button, that inspires me to do more work for conservation and keeps me going. It keeps all of us going. So everybody, thank you so much for hitting that like button. Cultivate this channel and help it grow into the channel it should be. Now, this picture alone is another form of inspiration for me. I drew this picture 15 years ago, and at that time, I didn't know much about wolves. I didn't know much about conservation in general. But looking at it today and looking back at my artwork, I see a few things in here that just really hit me at home. Like, first of all, the wolf howling at the moon, some sort of a natural behavior I felt like I was portraying in this animal. The moon being closer than ever before, but for some reason I drew an asteroid belt on it. But most interestingly is the pile of skulls. It's almost like my goal is to see these animals rise up above all the circumstances that we humans have presented. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about the conservation of the beautiful red wolves. And I'm not saying I want to see the humans demise, but I want to see us become co-inhabitants of this wonderful world we live in. And I want to throw another big shout out to Backyard Expeditions. And I'm glad to see that you enjoy that little bit I threw in there on the last video about the preservation of red wolves. So thank you all who watch this, and hopefully we'll be able to touch a few hearts. And today we're going to talk briefly about assassin bugs and how a 50 million year old fossil could give us some new perspectives. We're going to talk about a giant sea worm's lair, how scientists are trying to reconstruct the steps it took for creatures to go from the sea to the land. Bee extinction worries grow as bee species numbers decline. Plan B and how Britain is planning to save its pollinators. Let's get started right into this, so after a brief blockbuster. The assassin bug is a truly extraordinary insect, and they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Look right here, you'll see on its back it has these protruding spines that resemble the spokes of a wheel. Some people call them wheel bugs. Now, a 50 million year old fossil was discovered in Colorado. Old murderer bug died 50 million years ago, fossilized with his penis intact. That's too fucking... Why the fuck does he have to say that? Fuck. Sorry. I'm gonna read. Let me find another article. All right. 50 million year old assassin bug has this unusual... Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm so immature. 50 million year old assassin bug has this unusually well preserved bits on show. Jesus. It might sound like a chapter and you've been publicly shamed, but to find this preserved insect specimen's viable genitalia actually is cause for celebration among scientists. A new study published in the journal Papers of Paleontology describes one such specimen, an assassin bug from 50 million years ago, which has been suspended in amber, even with its delicate structure still intact. It's a lucrative find for many reasons, academically speaking, but the unique preservation of its genitalia capsule is particularly remarkable. Upon inspection, the researchers on a new paper realized the internal features of this ancient bug genitalia were clearly visible and well preserved, providing new insights into the love lives of the ancient bugs. So intricate detail is, while not unheard of, very rare in fossilized insect specimens. So what a great find. Hopefully we will get some insights in how to preserve and maintain these insects more so than anything. I think dissecting the past is the key to understanding our future. While the future isn't always the same, it does a lot of times rhyme. Giant worm's undersea lair discovered by fossil hunters in Taiwan. Scientists believe a 2-meter-long burrow once housed a predator that ambushed passing sea creatures. That undersea lair of a giant worm that ambushed passing marine creatures 20 million years ago was uncovered by fossil hunters in Taiwan. Researchers believe the 2-meter-long burrow found in ancient marine sediment once housed prehistoric predator that burst out of the seabed and dragged unsuspecting victims down into its lair. This creature may have been similar in ferocity to bobbit worms of today that lie in wait in sandy sea floor burrows with antennas protruding that sense passerbys. Those soft bodies, the worms possess sharp and powerful jaws that can slice a fish in two. After 20 million years, it's not possible to say whether this was made by an ancestor of the bobbit worm or another predatory worm that worked more or less in the same way. I'm gonna need a sip of water. I'm sorry, y'all. My cheeks hurt. Jeez. Harvard scientists reconstruct the game-changing evolution from fin to limb and early tetrapods. This is a pretty interesting article. It's hard to overstate how much of a game changer it was when vertebrates first stepped up and rose out of the waters and moved onshore about 390 million years ago. That transition led to the rise of dinosaurs and all the land animals that exist today. Being able to walk around on land essentially set up the stage for all biodiversity and established modern terrestrial ecosystems, said Stephen Pierce. Scientists have been trying to unravel for more than a century exactly how this remarkable shift took place, and their understanding of this process is largely based on a few rare intact fossils. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I have to do this one. Okay. Why can't I stop laughing right now? Why can't I stop laughing? The study published in Nature shows how and when the first groups of land explorers became better walkers than swimmers. The analyst spans the fin to limb transition, reconstruction, evolution of terrestrial movements in early tetrapods. And then it has an interesting little diagram here that kind of shows the potential change in the anatomical features of certain arm bones, looks like. Fossil humeri from aquatic fish transition to a tetrapod, and then a terrestrial tetrapod. Changed over time to allow us to walk on this earth. So just a pretty interesting article. Bee extinction worries grow as species numbers drop. We all know how important pollinators are. They are the only reasons we are here today. The number of reported bee species has dropped 25% from the 1990s. That's not specimens, that's species. So we're talking about losing some of these very uniquely evolved, co-evolved pollinators, which can have a huge cascading effect down the assembly line. Fewer bee species have been reported since the 1990s, raising concerns that rare species might be extinct. About 25% fewer species were found between 2006 and 2015 compared to records prior to the 1990s, according to a study published on Friday by the One Earth Journal. The authors are researchers at Argentina's Centro Nacional de Investigación. Okay, that's a long Hispanic. Why can't I read that? Wild and managed bees are essential pollinators that ensure the reproduction of thousands of wild plant species and 85% of all cultivated crops. Mounting reports shows that decline in wild bee populations might follow or even be pronounced than declines in insect populations. Many animals populations are decreasing drastically, scientists have recently warned. Hopefully this isn't falling on any deaf ears. Sightings of rare types of bees have fallen sharply, and those of more common families. Researchers found records of the Meltillidae, a bee family found in Africa, have gone down by as much as 41% since the 1990s, while the Halictix bees, the second most common family, have declined 17% during the same period. And those are the most common bee species. So obviously growing concern and cause for alarm on that. One country is, however, taking action, and it's called Plan B. Labour is seeking to protect Britain's pollinators. These are the kind of stories that I like to hear about. The health of our bees and pollinators is too precious to be bargained with. Bees are responsible for pollinating 70% of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds that we eat. Without bees, we could wave goodbye to carrots, grapes, lemons, apples, broccolis, Brazil nuts, and onions. And if we start losing the key foods, it could have a catastrophic impact on our future food security. The decline of bees in recent years is an economic and environmental catastrophe. In the UK, 13 bee species are extinct, and now 1 in 10 Europe's wild bee species are under threat. That is why a decision by the Conservative government to lift the ban on bee-killing neonicotinoid pesticides is so damaging. So they lifted a ban on neonicotinoid pesticides, and now they're seeing catastrophic bee decline because of one policy implemented by policymakers. This is the first major rollback since we left the Brexit transition period, but it will not be the last up here. And this is why I must make a stand and why we must win. Without bees, our entire ecosystem will fail. That is why bee health is a non-negotiable. If we permit plans to be lifted when they become inconvenient, we will never truly address the climate crisis because our resolve will be temporary and tempered. In this debate, labor will stand up for our bees, stand up for the environment, and stand up for our future. Well said. I couldn't say it better than that. I want to say thank you all for watching this Good Morning Outdoors video. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Hopefully y'all having a great day, and peace.